afternoon, Dr. Seetharaman.
Good afternoon.
You are participating as a keynote speaker in Qatar Central Bank Conference on information security in financial sectors next week.
That's right.
And so we would like to focus on the topic digital banking and cyber security today.
Correct.
Could you tell us what is the purpose of this meeting?
Well, the purpose is to recognize the seriousness of the cybersecurity requirement and is ensuring that the institutions come together with the government bodies as well as apex banks like central bank and integrating these informations, setting the methodologies, ensuring proper policy framework has been designed, the legislations which has been set in for e-commerce as well as information security has been fully understood, knowledge management is happening and effectively executed. This is the very purpose of it. Knowing the risk, measuring this risk, mapping this risk and ensuring there is a total convergence between the policy and the practice. It means the Ministry of Information Computing Technology, who has framed the cyber laws, e-commerce laws in 2010, and again possible changes required in those legislations. Security administrations by having the Banking Information Security Committee, which has been the composition of the central bankers and the local banks, and a way forward to see what sort of current trends in terms of digital security needs to be updated, and again ensuring we have a project management set in to execute the way forward.
Could we have your insights on the current trends in electronic banking?
It's a huge transformation. I'm looking back 10 years before Doha Bank itself was the first one to bring in SMS banking, web banking, mobile unit, GPRS, bank on wheel. It's all executed before even 2004, between 2002 to 4, and we have innovated, others have replicated thereafter. We used to buy bulk messages from even Etisalat. From there, when I see the consumer shift today, it's huge. From a conventional transaction banking in a branch, the shift is more transaction based processing is already happening in ATMs, smart cards, e-commerce sites, web transactions, m-commerce, mobile banking, plus social media network. These changes are visibly redefining the new generation models which banking is set to.
What are the information security challenges faced in Qatar?
We have information security well designated parameters, but needs constant update. As I said, the information communication technology ministry itself is well founded, very well run, engineered in real terms to make sure institutions who wants to take their services, some services are free, some services are got minimum cost, but certification is important, information assurance is important, and that's what ministry is trying to do for institution, including vulnerability test and reviewing your security parameters. Those changes are to be executed within the standard time, and again that's quality assurance we all have to go through. Central bank in its wisdom to bring in all the local banks and set up a committee and look at the current trends, the current cases, what are the various cyber crimes happening abroad as well as in the regional local market, and how do we map this into business process to fix this, what sort of initiatives required to move forward. So those are very good signs, and you have central bank regulations 105 in 2012 and again 101 in 2013 are all new legislations which are concurrent with the changing dynamics of the secured order, and those informations needs to be executed, again transcending down the line to the operating management level is very important.
Dr. Seetharaman, what are the initiatives brought on by Doha Bank for information security?
We have the prime mover in terms of the overall information security. As I said, the banking models is changing. It is not technology per se, it is not information security per se. These are tools and methods by which business is changing. People are not location centric, they are information centric, they are not product centric, they are consumer centric, they are anytime, anywhere centric, they are global, they are no more local. So, what we have done is to recognize this change 10 years before and start setting the right kind of products. And along with that, we got certified our systems, BS 779, and way back in 2002. And thereafter, in the last 10 years, we have come a long way in building this, quality assurance as a structured methods and ensuring our customers are protected. Knowledge sharing taking place with the customers. More than anything else, your customers, consumers needs to be told what exactly the risk involved, and also mapping this risk into business process for their advantage, securing. See, now the whole shift is now from a virtualization, conventional wisdom to virtualizations. Servers have gone, it has gone to the end users now. And that change is huge, and customers should know. And that's what we do time and again. We have established internal security committee, internal security functional responsibility within the business. Business continuity as a process, ensuring mapping this business process for larger value for the growth and improving awareness, improving the security, so that when you run a business, the risks are integral, and you map this by business process, so your business continuity is ensured. At the same time, the vulnerability is minimized, and you make sure you keep moving with the technology adoption, which is faster than the security change. You have redefining to synchronize the overall growth of technology and security.
Could you tell us more about the implications of digital technology on banking and its associated risks?
It's a huge change. The risk involved is significant. Now, if there is a considerable shift from the conventional banking, if there is a physical security required, we can always look at the controls, either through our own internal support or through Ministry of Interior. If the customer is global, anytime, anywhere, he is information centric, he lives in social media, then your ability to set in the right kind of mission is important to cope up with the changing dynamics, and that's what the need of the institution. Good institutions will redefine those scales and ensuring you adopt methodologies which are global, and we have experience knowing the risk. We need to map this in terms of operations, in terms of unifying the controls, in terms of integrating these informations into effective business process, and reducing the overall vulnerabilities, ensuring you have online real-time controls, concurrent management of these crises and on a contingency term is vital for us to see through a lot of fixes.
What would you say are the key lessons learned from cyber attacks?
We all have learned lessons, whether with the change in behavior of the customers, we change the business model. See, your conventional banking has gone, it's a new generation model. Predominantly, customer gets the convenience and also access to informations. And these access to informations have been misused in many forms by certain institutions or individuals, globally, locally, regionally. So how do you fix it? The digital advantage has got simultaneous weakness, and that's what we recognize as a challenge. And cyber crimes are very many. It could be to skimming, putting a digital skimming devices which can tap the informations. Phishing, again, dialing it, get these informations through password or smart cards or SIM cards or multiple forms, and access to all this information and taking out this information and using it and destroying the fabric of trust and confidence of the customer in the institutions is possible, and the probability of fixing it is also, we need to measure it. So that's those kind of things. SIM card misuses, getting into social media and then attacking through multiple viruses, Trojans, name it. Those controls needs to be fixed in a real order.
any major cybersecurity incidents which have taken place in Qatar?
Well, Shamoon was a classic example where the challenge was to recognize the scale and gravity of these issues which somebody has attempted, and it is deliberately done, and it was a lesson all of us have learned. There are many instances the banks are going through as on date. We have regular cautions we need to apply in terms of phishing, spoofing, password crimes, again the skimming. So we are all used to smart cards when you use smart technologies, when you use, again, allied risk associated with it. So we have understood these incidents are time and again. A good institutions always take note of all this and ensure the financial leakage is minimum and service risk is minimum. Service disruption is completely not there. That's what we need to articulate. It means we have to find solutions for all these issues.
What are the top new technologies that organizations have identified as significant security concerns?
We have to understand you can't avoid social media. You have to be integral part of it. We have to fix the concurrent methodologies to fix the phishing, concurrent methodologies to recognize the misuse of SIM cards or passwords, concurrent methodologies in terms of spoofing, and digital security to multiple security levels. Secure socket layers have to be put in multiple form and substance. So those are nuances which are intricate to the delivery channels and the methods we use, and this applies to every single institutions. And those methodologies needs to be deployed to make sure that we have security concerns are fixed concurrent basis.
Could you tell us about the trends which have been identified in cybersecurity attacks or security breaches?
We have, if you look at ATM network has been, we have seen skimming devices have been deployed, whether world over, whether it's JP Morgan or Citi or Wells Fargo or in the region. We have seen phishing has happened in multiple forms. We had enough instances in the region. Multi-million losses have been identified in the region, and institutions like JP Morgan is committing for $250 million spending to fix. Over 1,000 people have been dedicated to fix the digital security, because you can't avoid digitals. You can't tell that I will not invest on this. It's not an expenditure, it's investments, and that's what a good institution should foresee. Technology has got a blank check as long as it can generate work back on commercial viability. So it is not a preconditions in pursuit of the overall practice of banking today. It's converged with banking and technology in real order.
Could you tell us about the Rack Bank and Bank Muscat cybercrime incident?
That's a replication of the outsourcing model. When you outsource it, if there are leakages, the controls features have not been practiced in real order, then you have a serious threat in the making. Rack Bank, few millions of dollars have been happened for taking these informations about a customer, using the credit card, drawing from various sources around the world. And we have seen a technology outsource company for Bank Muscat also has engaged in leakaging of these informations. Credibility of the informations were challenged, and by using 12 cards globally, they were tapping money, and we have seen that's huge amount of money was put to risk, and eventually the customers are not facing the the penalties, but the institution has to make sure that they compensate the loss to the customers. At the same time, they have to have insurance to protect their overall deficit in terms of loss of operations as such. So they might recover, but instances happen. Knowledge process outsourcing, business process outsourcing, if it is not rightly managed, rightly controlled, rightly mapped to business risk.
The data security breach in Barclays was also much talked about. Could you tell us more on this?
Data security in a private banking, hundreds of thousands of customers. Information is power. Information is business. Information is money. Information is time. and that's where the compromise, intrusion has taken place. Informations have been gathered, and again everything has been compromised. That's a major reputational issues, and again multi-million losses have been compounded, and institution has to pay eventually to the customers.
Could you tell us about the skimming scheme impacting US banks?
Many. There are many, as I said, whether it is JP Morgan or the famous institutions like Citi or Wells Fargo, or mid-sized county banks in US has to go through, because they are not EMP compliant in full scale across the globe. There's still the traditional magnetic strip card was there. They are not fully digitized to secure in real response to the standards which are certain in terms of universal frameworks. So these institutions have always been hacked, and in multiple forms. The skimming as a process, phishing as a structured exercise, diagnosing the credible informations, and then start replicating this information through multiple channels from different pockets of the world, and withdrawing money from those financial institutions have taken place. And there are multi billion losses have happened in United States.
Could you tell us about more instances of skimming happening worldwide?
Many. Romania has been, Bulgaria has been, again Indonesia has been, Philippines there are case studies, and we have seen in Russia similar incidents. So the case studies are very many, and the information communication technology ministry is accountable for setting the standards, ensuring the compliance comes in. First, information setup is very important, not only financial institutions, awareness to the customers, ensuring you have digital controls and cyber security management online real time is happening. If that's not done, you will have more confusion, and anyone can misuse. Today the crimes can come from any part of the world. The vulnerability is there for any institutions because we are all content providers in the whole frame.
Could you give us an illustration, Dr. Seetharaman, of the measures taken to strengthen cyber security?
There are measures. One is that you have to follow the e-commerce law, and you have to set in legislations which are responsive. Accountability is established in all form and substance to multiple recipients, stakeholders. And again, if it is a financial institutions, there has to be a set of clear guidelines in terms of information security. And if it is an outsourced business management, then there has to be secured parameters set in before we endorse the outsourcing. We also have to have security certifications online real time. Ethical hacking should be looked at critically, and vulnerability tests should be tapped time and again, and upgrades have to take place in the information infrastructure. Those are the norms which we have to follow to make sure we have a long-term investments to fix this.
Could you tell us now about the phishing attacks in the GCC?
The numbers are very many, so let us not split into numbers. See, you have more we have seen in UAE, we have seen in Qatar and Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain and Oman. As I said, Bank Muscat itself has to go through such vulnerability. So there are hundreds of incidents, but again, some are huge like Bank Muscat or Rag Bank, some are minimal. But what's important, the numbers are with the usage of digital secure channels. The vulnerability also goes with, and how far the individual institutions is backing up is vital. That's more important. I think Qatar is in the forefront, and again, comparative ranking, if you look at it, UAE is coming to terms, but still there are scope for improvement, and rest of the countries have to align in real order to get this infrastructure pattern right, legislative pattern right, and also ensuring consumer protection comes in.
Could you help us understand social engineering and identity theft?
It's vital. See, when it comes to digital advantage, the content providers in the Facebooks, content providers in the Twitter, content providers in Google, now interconnecting these informations and using it to your branding exercise is very common. So the more you brand, the more you digitize, more you give the customer convenience. We have to set in right kind of measures to online real-time digital monitoring mechanism to fix it, and that's where the challenge is, and that's where the real-time investment is required to make sure that we are not vulnerable in real order.
What would your key message be for the conference?
My key message is recognize the change in the marketplace globally, fine-tune it, because today's business is global, irrespective of whichever be the industry you come from. Banking, of course. Today's customer is global. Today's citizenship is global. Then knowing your customer itself is getting challenged. So it is digital advantage which is going to be enhanced time and again. We are living in an interconnected, interdependent Facebook world. We need to recognize the challenges in living in a globalized world. It has got huge amount of value advantage, but if you start missing the risk measurements, you will have serious repercussions to ensure business continuity. So bring in law, update the law, which we need to do time and again, even in Qatar. Update the local framework in terms of banking or other industries where you have more digital connectivity, and ensuring time and again knowledge management takes place with the customers. The end user is the customer, and you have to protect him, and you have to inform him. These are the secured ways in which you can ensure seamless transactions. And again, you have to have consumer protection for digital security. That law has to be framed up properly. Insist on modernization, insist on quality assurance, insist on regular certifications of the practice, the procedures, the policies, the process. These are vital for us to see through a significant unification of the overall information security.
Dr. Seetharaman, thank you for your time on the
Thank you.
Knowledge Management Forum.
My pleasure. Thank you.